So over the last couple months, major lotteries have been won in my general residential area. And my coworkers keep calling me because they know where I live and asking me if I'm the one that has won the lottery. I keep telling them that, hey, if I was the one that won the lottery, then this company device would not be answered. It would be lying somewhere around the place. Hopefully my bosses aren't listening to this video. But on a serious note though, guys, it made me start to think of what exactly I would do if it is that I actually won the lottery. It has been a plaguing thought over many years, and I would sit and daydream and say, man, it would completely change my life. So I started to do some research to find out what exactly to do, the right things to do so that I can protect my money, save on taxes, leave a legacy for my family in the future. But it is a serious thing that if you are not careful, you could totally lose all of your lottery winnings. So stay tuned for this content as we go over the steps that you should take if it is that you were successful in winning the lottery. The next level life hacks, where we take the next steps needed to go towards our financial freedom and success. Now, statistically, research shows that approximately 70%, yes, 70% of persons who win the lottery actually go broke within a few years. And that is primarily due to bad financial decisions, or it is that they were not prepared for the winnings. So when they got the winnings, they did not know what to put in place. But that's not going to be the case for us after we go through this content. So let's dive right in. Now, the first thing that you're going to be doing is that you're going to be calm, settle down. Be private in terms of the winnings, because you need to protect yourself and you need to protect the winnings, because you do not know who is going to be coming out of the woodwork as soon as they hear that you have won the lottery. Do not announce it even to many of your family members. You must only discuss it with a very highly trusted person, someone that has tested the time over years. You even have to be careful of your spouse, because persons change drastically when it comes onto money. You need to know who to trust. There are several nightmares. Have you ever watched Dateline, and have you ever realized how many murders are committed in couples or in family just based on either property or on money? So this is a real advice that you need to keep your winnings private and a secret, especially in the initial stage. The next thing that I would advise is that you be anonymous in terms of the collections of your winnings or the claiming of your prize. Now, if you are in the United States, did you know that there are certain states that either will allow you to be totally anonymous in terms of collecting your lottery winning, or there are certain stipulations up to certain amounts that you can keep anonymous in terms of your winnings. And I did some research in terms of the states that allow you to be completely anonymous, and I'm going to read them for you because I cannot lock them to memory. So they are Delaware, Kansas, Maryland, Mississippi, Montana, New Jersey, North Dakota, South Carolina, and Wyoming. So if you live in any one of these states, or maybe you need to move to these states if you plan on winning the lottery, then you can be completely anonymous in terms of your winnings and claiming your prize. Your next strategy is going to be securing your ticket, because there are many situations where persons who actually win the lottery, then the ticket gets stolen, it gets misplaced. So the first thing you're going to do once you realize that you win the lottery, after keeping quiet and not announcing it, is that you need to sign the back of the lottery ticket. That actually proves ownership, and then you just need to supply your identification card with the similar signature to prove that you are actually the winner. Bear in mind though that anyone who signs the back of that lottery ticket is now the owner of that ticket. So if you misplace it and someone else signs it, there is no way to actually prove that you were the initial owner. You'd have to go through a lot of processes, like maybe going to the place where you purchase these surveillance cameras. But if it even shows you purchasing a ticket, how do you prove that the numbers on this ticket were the ones that you actually purchased in the surveillance video? So just protect yourself by signing the back of the ticket. As a matter of fact, as soon as you have purchased tickets, maybe just sign them from before, because you're not sure whether you're going to win or not. So just complete the process and manifest it. Purchase in faith. Now, after you have signed the back of the lottery ticket, you want to make copies because this will actually verify that yes, you are the owner, you have the ticket. Another thing is that if you want to delay, and I strongly advise that you delay claiming your prize, is that you want to store it in a safe deposit box. And this is offered by many banks. They don't have to know the content of your safety deposit box. So just go in, rent one immediately, and go store your ticket in it securely and keep it a secret and keep the key in a safe spot. Your next step is to put together a trusted team. And I'm not talking of friends or relatives. I am talking about professionals who can correctly guide you, especially if this is a large amount that you have won. So you immediately want to secure the service of an attorney that can show you the steps that you can go through to securely claim your prize, especially if you want to do it anonymously. You also want a certified accountant, not just any by the roadside accountant, but one that can help you through proper estate planning and that can help you avoid certain taxes, not evasion now, but tax avoidance, so that you do not have to pay out a lot out of your winnings. Try to limit as much as possible the taxes that you have to pay. So get a certified and a good accountant who knows about claiming these prizes. And the third professional that I would recommend is a certified financial planner. Because yes, you have won. Remember, 70% of persons lose their winnings and become poor again because they did not have good financial planning. So you, for example, want someone who can advise you, say, okay, this is the safest investment option. For example, you know my go-to option, which is the index fund that has a steady rate. Well, it has a steady rate over the last 10 to 20 years, performing very well, and it has very low risk. So therefore, that is something that you would need a financial planner to guide you in. My next advice to you, which you may not have known, is that there are actually two ways that you can collect your lottery winning. There's the lump sum option and there is the annuity. Annuity meaning there's a certain amount you collect each year or over a specific period. Now there are pros and cons for each. So in terms of the lump sum, you get a large amount at the very beginning. And with this lump sum, you can make now larger investment like purchasing real estate or dumping a lot more into an investment product. The con though is that you tend to pay more taxes on this. So you're going to see a large amount of tax coming out of this initial payment. Then there is the annuity that you will get a continuous payment over a long term. So the pro of this is that you have a sure income coming in over an extended period, say for example 30 years. However, the con, as you might imagine, is that you would not have the immediate funds available for you to make large investments at the front end of your winning. My next advice is to you is that make sure you pay your taxes, because taxes are a must on these amounts, especially if you're going to be doing it long term in terms of the annuities. Lump sum, you pay the taxes and get rid of it up front, but you have to make sure that with the annuity payment, you continuously pay your taxes so that you do not get into a tax evasion situation. My next advice is that you invest for the future. Remember, 70% of persons go back to being poor. You want to make long-term planning decisions. So I would advise like real estate. That is a solid investment. That will always be yielding you a return. And most of the times, real estate appreciates in value. You will have some slumps in the market that there will be a loss in terms of the value. But when you look at the long term and you average it out, you will have an appreciation in your property. So therefore, do these long-term plannings. Another one, as I mentioned before, the index fund, the S&P 500, and you lock in your money for an extended period. Then you take the interest rate on an annual basis. It will be much more than you were getting if it is that you are working a 9 to 5. So therefore, put your standard of living within that amount that you're getting each year and live comfortably. My last advice to you would be to enjoy the funds. You have not seen this amount of money more than likely for all of your life. Give back to charity. Even the Bible tells you that you should give back, and it will give you a sense of fulfillment and appreciation for what you have. Help the poor, help the needy. Remember where you are coming from. So bless others just as how you have been blessed with this winning. Another thing is that enjoy your wealth responsibly. Do not go and live an overly lavish lifestyle. putting yourself on the radar, because crime is a real thing and you will be targeted. Fly below the radar, or mainly go out of town or to different countries, experience the world. Do not limit yourself to just where you are physically, but go out and experience different cultures, societies, and peoples, so that you can live a fulfilled life and have rich experiences. All in all, my friends, if it is that you win the lottery, you have to be very smart, because you have now gotten a windfall that can drastically change your life and the life of your family. However, if you do not manage it properly and put these things in place that I mentioned in this content, then you will be sure to going back to being poor in just a few years. If you know of anyone else that dreams of winning the lottery and they might not know what to do once they have won, share this content with them. Thank you for spending this time with me, and see you in the next video.